second delay in the parade today. The first one, there was a fire. I don't know what the nature of that was. If it was maybe in a trash can or in a building. I don't think it was a building, or on one of the parade floats. Now, as I understand it, the second delay is due to protesters for Palestine. You know, the ones that started the war, that attacked the festival that Israeli youngsters were having, and took hostages, murdered innocent men, women, and children. But Palestine doesn't like it because they're not winning the war, and Israel's conducting the war pretty well, but innocent people are getting hurt in the fray. But Palestine wanted it that way, and you know, when you want it a certain way, you gotta take it. And now they're protesting. You can hear them on their drum. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, I just think somebody should just walk over, and a whole bunch of people could just walk over to them and just say, move, or we're running it down. No. Like a doggy taking a poop, it still smells when it misbehaves.
The consistent and enduring Palestinian rejection of any and all peace initiatives with Israel, most recently the deal of the century, calls into question the commitment of the Palestinian leadership not only to peace, but to the very welfare and safety of the Palestinian people. Taking into account all the peace initiatives proposed to end the conflict between the Jews and the Palestinian Arabs over the last 83 years, we must consider the possibility that the Palestinians, or at least their leaders, do not want to establish their own state. Their sight is currently set on the big prize, the entire state of Israel, and they are playing for time. In the meantime, they plan to continue to subsist on monies donated by the Arabs and the Europeans. Many of the Arab states have grown disenchanted with this enterprise, and their assistance, particularly from the Saudis, has been discontinued in recent years. President Trump has also reduced the flow of US support. Only the Europeans remain committed to the implacable Palestinian narrative, a survey of Palestinian rejectionism. The Jerusalem Mufti Hajj Amin Husseini, the leader of the Palestinian Arabs from the early 1920s to the late 1940s, said in his testimony to the British Peel Commission, established in January 1937, to find a way forward for cooperation between Arabs and Jews in Palestine. Most residents of Jewish lands will not be awarded citizenship in our future country. The Mufti suggested that the Jews be deported from Palestine, rejecting the idea of a Jewish state. He promised that if such a state were established, every last Jew would be expelled from a Palestinian Arab state. The UN Partition Plan. In November 1947, the same Mufti refused to adopt the UN Partition Plan, but offered to establish two states, one Jewish, the other Arab. The Mufti rejected a two-state solution until the day he died, a choice ordinary. Palestinians may well regret, had he agreed to the UN plan, they would have gained a much larger area than what is on offer today. Yasser Arafat. The successor to the Mufti, Yasser Arafat, continued to reject any legitimacy for the state of Israel, refusing even to acknowledge existence. For many years, he raised the PLO banner of a military and terrorist struggle against Israel, in addition to masterminding decades of bloody terror in the streets of Israel. Arafat was responsible for devastation across the Middle East, including a civil war in Lebanon and Jordan's Black September. He also threw the PLO support behind Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait in 1991, when Anwar Sadat signed a peace treaty with Israel in 1979. Arafat's PLO called for Egypt to be boycotted. The Arab states adopted that boycott and prevented Cairo from participating in the Arab League from 1977 until 1989. Most Arab ambassadors in Egypt were recalled, and Arabs visiting Egypt were considered either traitors or spies.
I hate them. So there you go. These anarchists think they can. This is how they hold it. Where are the police? Oh, we're gonna have a nude show.
Here come the nudists. I wonder if we can pay them to piss on these fools, interrupting our parade. Millions of dollars invested, months of planning in process, just to make this all possible. It's time for the nudists to take a pee break. It's time for them to put out this fire of insanity. Move that out of the way so we can get on the parade. These protesters would at least be able to walk away with a souvenir of pee on their clothes and skins. Let's be serious for a moment here. If they had done their little sit-in in Palestine, they would have been shot and the women raped. The government of Palestine never wanted peace with Israel.
All in the freaks come marching in, all in the freaks come marching in with their crosses, really promoting Satan. Oh, when them freaks march near you, you might want to kick them in the nuts, proclaiming them all to be nuts and crazy. Oh, when the freaks come marching in with their crosses, really promoting Satan. Oh, when them freaks march near you, might want to kick them in the nuts, proclaiming them all to be nuts and crazy. Oh, when them freaks come marching in with their crosses, really promoting Satan. Oh, when them freaks march near you, might want to kick them in the nuts, proclaiming them all to be nuts and crazy. Oh, when the freaks come marching in with their crosses, really promoting Satan. Oh, when them freaks march near you, might want to kick them in the nuts, proclaiming them all to be nuts and crazy. Oh, maybe them all to be nuts and crazy.
So why they doing it yesterday, or why they didn't do it tomorrow?
Because
Why
they
they had to do it
because
today?
because this is the perfect time for them. It gets more people. It's attracting more attention. If you're gonna do something to disrupt, you want to get your word out there, everything. Are you gonna pick an everyday thing or something where there's an important thing? A parade, a festival. You're gonna go. This is the perfect venue. And look where they started to do it. Is there something special about this area? Ask yourself that question. There you go. You know what I mean?
So where's the police? The police can't move.
They're in the
can't
gray
move there.
area, and they said, "Well, we can't exactly do anything." I said, "So
Why
you?"
not?
I said, "So you and I got a gray area?" And they said, "Yeah." So
Are
you
the police afraid of that?
no, They're in a legal gray area. They got to do what's legal. You know what I mean? They got to go by the rule book. And what happens when they don't go by the rule book? We complain. Don't we? So they got to go by the rule book. And it's important that people don't say things that, you know, they're human beings. They're agitated. They're human beings that are angry. I mean, I asked him very politely. I said, okay, that's okay. I'm out of your hair. And that's something like that.
I know people were enjoying themselves coming down.
I know.
There are so many fans with
I'm so angry over this.
It's selfish.
They should be sued in jail.
Yes, they should be in jail. Anyway, have a good one.
You too. Jail the disruptors of pride! Jail the disruptors of pride! Jail the disruptors of pride! 1, 2, 3. Jail the disruptors of pride! Come on! 1, 2, 3. Jail the disruptors of pride!
You can follow them to the open.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. Shivers.
They just fucking steal everything. There's only about fucking 30 of them.
Okay, buddy.
Okay, he'll explain it.
I'm Christian. I'm gay. Back off with.
This gentleman here had a good conversation.
Okay, I don't know what your policies are.
We don't believe in the act. We believe that everybody's
No,
done
no.
by God.
Yes, and people are gay, people are straight,
but as long
people
as
are
they-
whatever. People
But
have.
you're not- a straight guy's not allowed to fornicate. He only can get married to have sex for children.
I'm resisting my passion not to just punch you in the throat or ram you in the chest with an elbow or step back and kick you back in the nuts and then as you come down give you a right upset to the chin or give you a side kick and watch you and your satanic cross take to the air. Don't you ever call me a child molester.
That's a
What
straight
does
guy, yeah.
what does having sex with children have to do with heterosexuals,
Because the sexual act is
gays?
made for procreation. The
There's
sexual
nothing to
act-
do
It
with
does.
gays
It does.
or heterosexuality.
God is called
That's
the-
called pedosexuality. It's a totally different thing.
The homosexual
Get
is called
with
to a higher
the
calling.
get
A
with
homosexual is
reality.
called to be
You're
celibate,
as
like
dumb as
God.
those people.
God has great plans for the homosexual. To be
You're
celibate.
dumb. You're the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
We can overcome our passions.
Don't go passion yourself.
Fornication is a sin.
You're not gonna go there. Yeah.
I thought they were just getting after them.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were.
I thought they were gonna, because there are some here.
OCT 7, Novi 15, 2023. Hamas launches a terror attack on Israeli civilians, killing around 200 people and taking over 240 hostages. Among them, the elderly, children, and citizens from at least 30 countries, including Americans. Netanyahu declares war on Hamas, and Israel orders a complete siege of the Gaza Strip. The Biden administration expresses unwavering support for Israel and sends warships and aircraft to the region. Israel's retaliatory campaign to eradicate Hamas causes Palestinians to flee their homes and kills thousands in Gaza, sparking protests in countries around the world. The Biden administration calls on Israel to do everything it can to protect Palestinian civilians and expresses concern that the fighting could escalate into a wider regional conflict. Israel launches a ground invasion into northern Gaza on October 27. Israeli army storms Gaza's largest hospital, Al-Shifa, which it says Hamas uses as a military command center, an allegation that Hamas denies. Israeli authorities say they are investigating allegations of widespread sexual violence committed by Hamas on October 27. NOV 24, DPEC Team, 2023, Israel and Hamas implement a temporary ceasefire starting on Nov 24 that allows for the release of 102 hostages held by Hamas and over 200 Palestinians from Israeli prisons, as well as the delivery of humanitarian aid into Gaza. The truce collapses on Deck 1, with both sides blaming each other for its failure. The Israeli military extends its ground offensive to southern Gaza on Deck 4. On Deck 9, the U.S. vetoes a UN resolution calling for a humanitarian ceasefire. Biden tells Israel's government that the indiscriminate bombing of Gaza could risk leaving the country with less international support. The Israeli military says its troops mistakenly killed 3 Israeli hostages during operations in Gaza on Day 15, although the men carried a white flag and acknowledges that the men's killings violate its rules of engagement. Tensions also rise in the West Bank amid escalating Israeli settler violence and army raids. The U.S. tells Israeli officials that extremist violence must stop and announces it will impose visa bans on Israeli settlers engaged in violence against Palestinians in the West Bank. January on Jan 26, the International Court of Justice, the UN's top court, orders Israel to take specific measures to prevent the possibility of genocide in Gaza. In response to a case brought by South Africa, the U.S. and more than a dozen countries paused funding for the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency, the biggest provider of aid in Gaza, after allegations that some of its employees were involved in the October 7 attacks. A majority of the countries reinstate funding in the following months. The U.S. and a few others maintain suspensions. February 12, 2024. The Israeli military says it rescued 2 Israeli hostages during fighting in Rafah March 11, 2024. A senior UN official focused on sexual violence and conflict.
Says that there are reasonable grounds to believe Hamas carried out sexual violence, including rape and gang rape during the October 7, 2023 attacks, and that there are reasonable grounds to believe that such violence may be ongoing against women and children still held by Hamas.
Out in Palestine. But they neglect to mention the fact that Palestine puts its military in with civilians. And so the civilians get killed along with the military. And plus a lot of the civilians are willing to fight for Hamas. Hamas is the ideal, it's even an ideology, the way Hamas is, besides being religious. And when Palestine attacked Israel, people died, people were kidnapped. Israel went nuts over it. People went nuts over it. And they said, that's it, we're going in, we're taking out Hamas. That's the only thing to do. You know, if that's exactly what's going on. And these people don't know the full story. They're being used, and that's kind of sad. And it's sad that their behavior has now resulted in...
I got it. It's a really very complex situation.
Yeah, well, not so much complex, but people don't know. When they know, and you got to ask yourself something else. In Ukraine, Vladimir Putin's losing that war. He needed a distraction, and we all said, well, there would be a war in the Middle East, and the best place for a war was between Palestine to do something to Israel, and boom! You gotta be kidding me! There you go. So all these things connected. You look at it, you realize, and then you got these people who don't know what they're doing. They believe that Palestine is innocent. I threw some simple things at them. I said, why does Palestine strap bombs to their children? They called me a terrible liar.
Of course.
Terrible liar. I thought, well, they don't know their history. They don't know. They said, do you know, one woman said, do you know the history? I said, yes, I do. I know the history. I thought, if you did this, lady, you wouldn't be asking me this. That's especially at her age. She's like 60 at least, and she doesn't know the history. Like I know a guy from Palestine. Him and his wife and their family got the hell out of there because they said it's crazy. There's so much propaganda in the government, and they said. And then there's I know a delicatessen owned by a Muslim and a Jew. And they get along. They're related by marriage. And they're Palestinian.
Yes.
So what does that tell you about the way people are? You got smart people, you got people that are just easily led.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Stop pink washing. They picked this at the perfect day, maybe the perfect location. Where is it? In the gay village.
Yes, and there's so many media.
And there's you said it. That's the thing I'm missing. Yeah, and then there's a lot of naive gay people of all ages. You got the ones that believe in communism, and you look at that, and then you realize that why the hell would gay people be interested in communism? It makes no sense. With communism, we were the first ones sent to the gulag. But they don't get that. And you get that same way of mentality, and they go right into these people. Because they think, they're the same ones that denied completely, said COVID can't be real. And you know it's not real and all that. I know people who died from COVID.
And I do think there is no just like a Fox or something right media in Canada, right?
Yeah.
We cannot get some information from the public media now.
But it depends what there are some things,
Yeah, we have to get some from Vlog.
They've got one heck of a job, these guys. They're doing their best. I say that just in case they get to
Don't matter. It's a free country. No problem.
They see us and they say, well, okay. You got to think about that because the police, they don't know. They see things and they got to react in an instant. I saw a police officer standing there and I said, what are you doing? Posters on there. I looked down. I said, I saw it and I just saw it. No problem. I'm not creating a problem for you. And he looked at me and I said, check that. I just saw it. He said, what was this? But I thought, why was it? I said, forgot. He's got things going on in his mind. I thought somebody could grab that. Some crazy person, you know? Things happen. What if he's going up the stairs and it falls out?
Thank you, I'm leaving.
Okay. Take care. No. That's what do these people do? Come on, we need buckets of ice water. We need buckets of ice water.
Did you know every dictator and fascist government from Stalin, Hitler, Putin to just name a few rely upon the useful idiots and those who follow them? None of these fools bother to study history, otherwise they would realize that they're being manipulated by fascism. Did you know what every dictator and fascist government from Stalin, Hitler, Putin to just name a few rely upon the useful idiots and those who follow them? None of these fools bother to study history, otherwise they would realize that they're being manipulated by fascism. Did you know what every dictator and fascist government from Stalin, Hitler, Putin to just name a few rely upon. The useful idiots and those who follow them, none of these fools bother to study history. Otherwise they would realize that they're being manipulated by fascism.
That was crazy. Crazy people do crazy things. Look at that. They just shut everything down on us. Bastards.